Okay, so let's look at another post on Korea's Eternity microsite. So, character tone correction story. So, the character colors are subtly different from Mabinogi. I transferred the Mabinogi character shader to Unreal Engine as is, but the character colors are different. Even if you test it unlit, the tone is different. So this is all about like the different like color tones and the way like lighting works and stuff like that. Leon Engine versus Unreal Engine Unlit versus Unreal Engine Mabinogi specific shader. So differences between Leon and Unreal Engine. We've looked at 4 of the factors that affect color above. How do the 2 engines provide functionality for each of these 4? Properties of a material such as its reflection, absorption of light are defined by the material or shader in the game engine. For reference, in Unreal Engine, a material that has no effect on light at all is called unlit. And in this case, it always appears as the set color regardless of light. Let's assume this makes no difference since they said they ported the shaders from Leon to Unreal as is. So the remaining elements are lighting that affects directly and indirectly, and the results output by the monitor and the gamma correction or tone correction processing for them. The Unreal Engine that Mabinogi will be ported to has a lighting system called Lumen. Calculates direct and indirect lighting that affects the scene in real time. So here's the comparison results. This is before Lumen and this is after. And you can see the difference, how like this one's darker a little bit and this one looks a little bit brighter. This is a feature that was not present in the older Leon engine. The difference in the lighting system may affect the color. Another difference is that Mabinogi uses gamma correction, while Unreal Engine provides a system called Tone Mapper, which supports gamma correction and other correction methods. Differences in tone correction are also a factor affecting color, so it is important to look at the differences. Differences in troubleshooting of tone correction by Tone Mapper. Unreal Engine supports Tone Mapper as a function called post-processing. Filter effects that we use in cameras can also be considered as this type of post-processing function. In post-process, I was computing color correction instead of gamma correction with a color grade texture like below. The engine default was to use color correction unconditionally, so I modified it so that only gamma correction is calculated without using color correction by adjusting the relevant parameter values. As a result, we were able to confirm that the character was output with the same color as Leon Engine when using the unlit shader. So color comparison after tone correction of Leon Engine versus Unreal Engine Unlit versus Unreal Engine Mabinogi specific shader. And here you can see blinded. So these are the examples. This one's the Pleon Engine one, this one's the Unreal Engine Unlit, and this one's the Unreal Engine Mabinogi specific shader, it looks like. When you match the tone to the character, the background tone changes. So left when the tone is matched to the background, right when the tone is matched to the character. So here you can see the two examples, and you can sort of tell that the tone is a little bit different. If we could distinguish between characters and non-characters at the tone mapper stage that handles tone correction, wouldn't it be possible to make an exception so that only characters are not color corrected? So, character outlines. Character mask information recorded separately when drawing the character outline. And here you can see an example right here. With this character identification mask information, we were able to add the ability to adjust bloom separately for each character, as well as tone map correction. Control character specific tone map parameters. So from left to right we can see this image of Dailies and how it changes with each tone being adjusted. And then down here we have character specific bloom parameter control. Lighting calculation differences and troubleshooting. Based on the results so far, we have confirmed that when created with the unlit shading model, it appears to have the same color as Pleon. Color comparison after tone correction of Pleon Engine versus Unreal Engine Unlit versus Unreal Engine Mabinogi specific shader. So from left to right we can see blended again here. However, the character on the right that uses the Mabinogi specific shader still appears with different colors. So yeah, this one doesn't look quite right, it doesn't look like blended. Why can't we just use unlit? You might think like this. Unlit is a shader that is literally unaffected by lighting. So whether or not the character goes under the shadow of the tree, the fake lighting above will always be visible. Yeah, I can see how that could be a problem. So there was a need to normalize the Mabinogi specific shaders to fit Unreal Engine. The goal is to have Mabinogi specific shader like Unlit express the same colors as Pleon, while also reflecting lighting and shadows. First of all, why does it look so dark? So, shadow map comparison. After looking into it, I found out that characters using Mabinogi specific shaders always appear dark because the shaders are implemented to cast shadows. I tried modifying it so that shadows are not always cast, but only when shadows are needed. And you can see the examples of that, here and here. Although it is brighter than the shadow area, the feeling of the area where light is calculated is more realistic than toon-like. Perhaps this is why shadows are always drawn when imported into Unreal Engine. In order to maintain the feeling of toon shading, I recorded the character's shadow color separately, and since it would be a waste to play with buffers not used in toon shading, I changed them to record lighting color and reflected shading results. Before editing, only lighting colors exist, versus after editing, separate the shadow color and lighting color, then synthesize in tune style according to the shade. Shadows and basic lighting calculations are now guaranteed to be computed the same way as in Pleon engine. And here you can see like a character running, and how her shadow vanishes when she runs under the tree, but when she runs out from under the tree, you can see her shadow. So this just gives you an example. Next, when using the Mabinogi specific shader in the Lumen indirect lighting environment provided by Unreal Engine, we confirmed that the indirect lighting calculation results were too excessive and the character colors did not appear properly. So high versus low lumen influence on characters. And they have some examples here. This has been addressed by providing the ability to control lumen influence separately when using Mabinogi specific character shaders. Controlling character specific lumen parameters. So you can see how like the lighting is changing in this picture. And like the hair color and everything like that as they like adjust the settings for that. In this way, we have provided the ability to control background lighting and character lighting separately by providing character-only skylight influence parameters, point light character influence parameters, etc., whether or not you're using lumens in this way. You can now set character-specific lighting separately from background lighting settings, allowing you to control the character's color tone without it looking too different from the background lighting. In conclusion, so far we have looked at the process of identifying and resolving the cause of the difference in character colors between Pleon and Unreal Engine. And I'm not sure when this post will be coming to the NA Eternity site. We do have 3 more posts coming to the NA Eternity site, one on July 17th, one on July 24th, and one on July 31st, but doesn't say which ones are actually going to be posted here. So at some point this post will also be put on the NA Eternity site if you want to check it out. But if you want to read about it now, like I just did, you can go to the Korean website and click on their Eternity site button, and it'll take you here. You can use Google Chrome to translate all this, and it's right down here. Character tone correction story. All the posts about Eternity happen on the Korean Eternity site first. So if you want to read it right away, this is the place you should go. But it should be on the NA site by the end of July anyway. So let's look at another one of the new posts in the Mabinogi Korean Eternity section that just recently came out. I want to go straight to Dumbarton School. So what do you think of the new Dumbarton that was briefly shown at the showcase? As it was a town that I visited often, I think the Militians were also impressed by it, as it had many areas that needed improvement. Starting from the continent of Ulad, there are regions that can be visited at all times, such as the continent of Idia and Belvast, as well as regions that can only be visited during certain events. and then special regions that don't belong to any continent, like Avon. And this area is like at the end of Saga 2. In addition to areas that you, the Militians, can easily access on a regular basis, there are many areas internally. For example, there are areas that are only necessary for special situations such as missions or cutscenes. There are also areas that cannot be entered on a regular basis and can only be entered when carrying out a special quest, such as the mainstream. Due to various limitations in the existing Leon engine, there were cases where similar looking areas were composed of multiple areas. There were also quite a few one-time event-only areas that were no longer used. Therefore, in the process of porting to Unreal, we had to decide which areas were essential and which areas should be improved first. Dunbarton, a representative village where many Militians come and go. The development room also poured out various ideas to improve Dunbarton to make it richer and more convenient. We were able to reorganize various elements, starting with the previously considered inconvenient paths. After several discussions with the planning and art workers, we established the following major criteria. So yeah, they really improved Dunbarton, and you can see that in the showcase. Dunbarton has many convenient facilities centered around the town square, but there are some areas that are inconvenient, such as having to go around in a circle. So like the Dunbarton Magic School at the moment, you have to like go far to the left and go up some steps and enter, or far to the right and go up some steps and enter right now, and there's this big ugly wall right here. Well, that's going to be going away, and so is that little wall right there, right in front of the doors to the magic school. And this is what it's going to look like in Unreal. So some of those training dummies are gone. There's a big staircase here, so now you can just walk right up. And then the little barrier in the center of that entrance is now gone, so you can just walk right into the magic school. I think this looks really good. This is a really good update. And then the town office is also going to be improved a lot, so they're going to... Right now, these two boards are like kind of in the center, and there's like a staircase on the left and right side for accessing the town office. But now it looks like they're going to take out those two staircases, move those two boards all the way to the left here, and they're going to just put one big old staircase in the center, so that's great. I checked the traces of all NPCs that were standing in Dunbarton one by one and readjusted the place elements. I will leave it to your imagination to see how many NPCs were stationed in Dunbarton, even for a moment. When I checked the location information, it would be difficult to plant a new tree or something in the place where our precious planet is standing. We also paid a lot of attention to areas that could further highlight the symbols or landmarks of Dunbarton Village. So here's the unicorn statue area. And here you can see Town Square. It's a little bit easier to see than it was in the showcase. But they have the symbol of Dunbarton in the center of Town Square now, right here. That's really cool. I think that's a nice touch. As you trade, you can see that the symbol of Dunbarton is a unicorn through the icon. The location of the unicorn square, where enchantments were entrusted long ago and concerts were held, has been moved to the center, and the stone statue has been upgraded. Okay, so this is gonna be like a different statue then. The central square where everyone gathers has also been beautifully engraved with the unicorn symbol, which again you can see right here. That looks very nice. The buildings that play important roles, such as the bell tower and the government office, have also been rebuilt larger and more splendidly. The small garden and trees in front of the cathedral have also been arranged more beautifully. It would be even more enjoyable to gather with the guild members at this place overlooking the town square below. So yeah, this area looks very nice. In addition to this, the decorations on the stalls of shops placed in the town, the fountains, the vines growing on the buildings, the flowers blooming under walls, even the smallest details were decorated to create a lovely, beautiful Dunbarton. So yeah, these are the changes to Dunbarton in Unreal, and personally I think they did a very good job. This looks very good. It still looks like Dunbarton, and it not only looks better, it is better. They actually fixed some of the flaws with it without drastically changing the way Dunbarton is. So that's very good. Okay, so we'll be looking at another post in the Eternity section on the Korean site called Materials That Exist in Erin. So just like the real world we live in, there are objects and materials with various textures in Erin. Among the various technical supports we are carrying out in this article, I will talk about how materials implemented in the Pleon engine are being refined in the Unreal Engine environment. So entering. As mentioned above, Erin has various textures such as skin, fur, fabric, stone, metal, and fluid. So things in development. It can be broadly divided into materials used for the environment and materials used for characters. Let's first look at materials used for the environment. So, vegetation. There is more to consider with plants than you might think. The color of the leaves and stems, and the degree to which they change depending on the surrounding environment. Shaking handling for physical collisions and optimization using various techniques depending on density all need to be sufficiently prepared in advance. Since Pleon Engine does not support parallel processing, there were limitations in vividly rendering vegetation, but Unreal Engine can utilize technologies such as multi-threading and object instancing, so it is possible to create vivid vegetation communities to draw Erin more richly. So here you can see like some of the examples. So fluid. Fluid substances like water also have various states depending on the environment. These calculations were also not easy in the past specifications, so there was a limit to expressing them using texture animation or sprite sequence. Eternity plans to actively improve these areas. Personally, I am really serious about expressing water more beautifully. So yeah, water is gonna get a lot better. And you can see some pictures of it down here. Translucent object. The Eternities project uses Unreal Engine's deferred rendering method to draw the screen. Deferred rendering allows for high-quality results using various techniques. But drawing translucent or clear objects is still difficult to implement. Of course, in Pleon Engine, it was almost impossible to even try to give texture to translucent objects, but in Eternity, our TAs are struggling today to create translucent texture that suits Mabinogi by mixing real-world reflection characteristics with NPR expressions. So here you can see some translucent bubbles here by the Dumbarton Bank. So dying. In Pleon Engine we used a unique parameter called illumination color that only exists in 3D's Max, a 3D authoring tool for dyeing things. Since this can no longer be used in Unreal Engine due to changes in the 3D file format, we implemented the dyeing function without significantly changing the existing character creation pipeline through a roundabout method using several techniques. So here you can see like a picture of some wings, and these are like ribbon wings. And here we have a fox, so hair. And they're using a fox as an example for that. There are many ways to express fur, but we wanted to draw it only with materials while minimizing modifications to the existing model. In the current Mabinogi, fur is expressed with textures carefully created by artists, but it is not enough to convey the sense of volume. So we are currently developing so that various fur textures can be expressed. Ultimately, we want to give Pan abundant and realistic clothes. And here you can see like what the fox looks like with more realistic fur in the game. So in conclusion, I briefly introduced the main materials under development. I am trying to show you a more wonderful version of Aaron in your imagination. So yeah, this was pretty good. It's interesting to see like how they're redoing like all the textures for like plants and characters and clothing and stuff like that, because and water, because like it is a lot of work. Alright, let's play some more Mabinogi. So, Cookie Island stuff, we're gonna do that first, and then we're going to do some techs. Well, we might do the Veteran Dungeon before the techs, I don't know. Oh, these are all for the other event. So make sparkling water, deliver sugarfish. Yeah, let's turn that in. And we'll do the next story mission. What, no durability? Jeez, at a time like this? And I have no gold on me. Okay, I guess we'll just have to use something else. Guess I'll use my dual guns instead. Okay, we have to defeat these guys in a certain order, so strawberry, orange, lemon, lime, soda, and grape. And then same thing again, strawberry, orange, a great one. Oh, so we have to go in there like one more time tomorrow? Okay. So let's get some sparkling water. If you don't feel like crafting it, you can just buy it. And then we have to explore the snack tent again for the, for just the daily of doing this dungeon. The story one doesn't count. Okay, we have 40 of those sugar coins. Let's buy the outfits. Okay, let's go to Dunbarton and work on this other Valentine's Day event thing. Okay, so we have to do a part-time job thing for it. Oh wait, we can also talk to this guy. Okay, so let's see what the part-time jobs are for like for cooking or helping out the grocery store. No part-time jobs available. Okay. We'll have to wait a little bit. So we'll defeat the runaway gingerbread man first. He's gonna show up pretty soon, so we'll get a nearite here. Do 5 tech runs later.
다음 분.
Let's go find out what the vet dungeon is today. Berry dungeon. I guess I can see what part-time jobs there are in E-Main, since we're already here.
이 곡이 좋을까? 저 곡이 좋을까?
Yeah, there's nothing. Okay. Let's go to Dumbarton then. let's check out her. Okay, maybe the part-time jobs for grocery stores just start later. We can wait until around noon. Okay, it's just about noon. Let's see. Let's take that one. Do I need to see... Oops. No, I just have to go straight to the inn. Can we just wait until 2 p.m. to actually turn in the quest? Oops. Keep meaning to go through the door, not attack. Alright. Wait, so for that event daily, deliver sweet chocolate spice. So you could probably buy it off the auction house too, if it can be sold. Oh wait, no, it's not tradable, so I guess you can't sell it. But this is the item that you want to get, I guess? Wait, how many points do I have? Let's get more than one of them. There. We get 4. Or... Wait, how many did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. They don't stack. They don't expire, do they? Oh, they do. Crap. So I guess it doesn't matter if you get more than one. That sucks. Anyway, we have to go deliver this to Eunice. I was kind of hoping I could just save a bunch of them. Alright, well since I can't save the rest of these, then it's pointless to leave them in my inventory. I might as well delete them, because they're just gonna go away at 7 AM tomorrow in real time. Oh, so this is basically like a full recovery potion then. And I gotta repair all my stuff, so we're gonna take out 200k. I think that'll be enough. Oh good, it costs way less than that. And let's get speed potions from this today, because I'm not going to be running nowhere to run today. I'm not really working on Stardust right now. Although I guess I could focus on Stardust more now since I don't have any Arcana to work on, but... we'll wait a little while longer before focusing on that. Oh wait, why did I get one of those crystals? Crap. Anyway, we're gonna do Berry Dungeon on Veteran Mode next. Alright, let's clear Berry Dungeon. Alright, time for the boss room. So I think there are 5 of them in here. Yeah, 5. Let's get those 3 with Meteor. And then Time Shift. Whoops. Get a little bit closer there. Okay, that one's down. One more. And done in 16 minutes and 36 seconds. Not too bad, considering I didn't really use mounts to move around in here. Wait, what's the normal daily dungeon that I had from yesterday? Math dungeon. Okay. We can do that on veteran mode since we just got an unlimited veteran foamer pass. Might as well. Let's do a math dungeon run next. Welcome in, Welcome in, Otaku. Alright, time for the boss. There are 3 of them. So... let's get that one first. Okay, that one's down. Good. Hey, one at a time. Minutes and 57 seconds. Alright, and we're gonna do 5 tech missions today, because I have 5 in here, right? So let's go to the Send Mag. How much summon time does the Irisund doll have? Over an hour? Let's go ahead and switch to Dark Diviner. And really quick, I will be right back in just a minute, and then we'll do like 5 tech runs. Alright, let's do 5 tech runs. Okay, so we have like 3 more runs to make, and I have... These skills aren't maxed out yet, but... This is mostly supposed to be a defensive build. Like, these 2 passive ones will give me a lot more defense. I'm gonna try activating this set for the next round. Oh wait, but before we enter, let's also test that out with like full health. Full heal. So the checks over here, and then go in again. That's on the correct set, right? Yeah. See how this run goes. Alright, that's it for tech missions. Let's get out of here. And then let's deposit all of this too. And then we'll sell those awakened strength fragments, and I'll let Xanafiedlion hang on to that gold for a little bit for anything that needs to be repaired or anything like that. Oh wait, and how much fine leather do we have? Exactly 20, so we can go ahead and sell 2 stacks of these. Let's pull those out. Okay, let's put those on the auction house. Make a little over a mil off both of those. So 555,550 gold. Those should sell pretty quickly. Fine leather. Let's see. Yeah, my stacks of fine leather cost like, I don't know, somewhere around 80k less than this. There was like one time when fine leather was super cheap, but the prices bounced back up. So yeah, this will make a good profit. And let's take a look at tech skills. I need 4 more of those virtuous crystals of achievement. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna use 2 of these boxes to get 6 of them. And then we can take this to level 9, then 1 more level and it will be done. Okay, we're gonna need 50 for that. That's what I'm gonna start saving towards next. Let's get more of those crystals of challenge. We'll get some of those. Take that to level 6. Get it the XP it needs. And then we need 40 to get to 7. We'll use these last 2 boxes to get 10 more of those. And these don't expire for like 2 weeks, so that's fine. As long as they don't expire in like a day or 2. Alright, made some more progress with my tech skills. Oh yeah, I'm still working on getting Phantasmal Sight up. How much are those blue crystals do I have at this one? Oh, more than enough to take that up whenever we get there. I guess I could do a few dailies real quick. Let's go to Cobb. Got 2 dailies over here. How many large nails do I have left? 3? Oh, I'm finally running low on those. I'll have to gather some more the next time I do that quest. Help out Madeline. Give him a striped marlin. Let's do the keeping cover daily out here. Not gonna do too many dailies today, but just gonna get a few done. Alright, I think that's good enough for today. So we'll wrap up the Mabby stream right around here. And we'll continue doing Mabby stuff on Tuesday, so that'll be the next Mabinogi live stream. And I think there'll be information about the new Arcana on Thursday of next week, like Wednesday or Thursday. So I'll probably release a video like later next week that covers all the information about the Fighter Arcana and the puppetry one.